is going on right now with our Federal Reserve note?
What is going on right now is that paper currency never works. It always crashes. And we are just at the moment that we have the time to convert that to treasury dollars. And this is exactly what Ronald Reagan was trying to do when he did a study, and he found out that 100% of our income taxes are leaving the country and going to the bankers. That's what John F. Kennedy was doing. And John F. Kennedy, he had accessed the wealth of the world and the gold that we're supposed to have. The Federal Reserve does not have the gold that the United States is supposed to have backing its dollar. That gold is there, but it's not going to be backing the Federal Reserve note. And so we have got to transition very quickly to the real currency in the United States. And Ronald Reagan printed that currency. It's there waiting for us, and we just simply have to exchange it, very simply, and we will not have any economic dislocation. Otherwise, you better believe this country is not going to have any more military might. If we stay with the Federal Reserve note, we will have lost our standing completely. As it is right now, the Federal Reserve note is no longer what's called international reserve currency. That means that the countries are using other currency in their international trade. The BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, that's 25% of trade. They're not using the dollars with their own trade. And 133 developing countries, that's the group of 77, they've announced that they're not going to be using dollars in their international trade. Now, one of the things, getting back to what I was doing at Yale Law School, between my junior and senior year, I wrote a paper on how that coalition of the developing countries, called the G77, was developing. I went to the UN between my junior and senior year at Yale, and I wrote a 200-page paper on that. I think that was also one of the reasons I was brought to the World Bank by Ibrahim Shihada. He was an Egyptian lawyer who had been the general counsel of OPEC. That's the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. And he might have realized that I was somebody who was very interested in the real mission of the World Bank. Now, the World Bank has been hijacked. It's been hijacked by a group that is called the Network of Global Corporate Control. It is a group that was studied by 3 mathematicians at the Federal Institute of Technology, and they found out that this group controls 40% of the assets of the 43,000 companies on the capital markets. And what it does is it takes the same directors and puts them on interlocking boards. So they have 10 times their economic might. And they didn't think anybody was going to find out about them, but we did. And this group has come into the World Bank, and it's also come into the United States, and it's done something called state capture. It is buying off the politicians. What they do is they print dollars, and they spend them to buy the politicians. They get to keep the difference between the amount that it costs to print the dollars and the face amount of the dollar. And then, to add insult to injury, they charge us interest on country debt. That's called usury. That means that people are working 3 months out of the year to pay the bankers on a scam. They have no right to keep that seigniorage, and any president that tried to end that scam, that's what happened to Abraham Lincoln. That's why he was shot. So any president that tried to end that scam was sent off. And people have said, well, Karen, if they can get rid of presidents, how come you're still around? And the reason is, first of all, because I have just been following the rule of law. It wasn't very easy to get rid of me. And frankly, the problem isn't something that I've invented. It's a real problem. So if you get rid of me, you haven't gotten rid of the problem. You have just exposed the problem. And they were trying to cover it up. So it wasn't going to help them.
This is why when you go to take a look at the usdebtclock.org, you will notice M2 money supply, which is all the money in existence at the moment, and we got the new USA Treasury dollars. And this has been done before with Lincoln and JFK. But again, you're going to see the transition happen from one currency to another. Know what you hold. Let's go!